neck different, he got the crowd so hyped. Coach that guy and every play's in sight. From the block to the three, every shot's on point. Man-Cave energy, we ain't gonna disappoint.
All that I know, really, I feel defeat and you better use it until we get problematic. Lights so wide across to break my love.
All right, so really excited about this. So, but before I really get into it, let me check on my brother. How you doing, Man-Cave?
Man, I'm doing great, man. And like I said, the playoffs are here, you know what I'm saying, for the NBA, for NHL, and now, WNBA season is right around the corner, man. When one sport goes off, another comes back, man, ready for these ladies. We ready to welcome the WNBA champions, the New York Liberties back, you know what I'm saying? Thank God, you know what I'm saying? The women are back, man, representing the city, putting the city on, you know what I'm saying? On a pedestal right now, man. It's great. It feels great, man. It's a great time right now, so I'm good, man.
All right, I feel you, man. Definitely feel you. So, before we get into the show, just want to tap into the chat. Our cool man, thank you, man, for tapping in. Yeah, everything's going good. Hope everything is well with you, man. So, thanks a lot again for tapping in, man. So, and yo OKC Thunder, man. Gotta watch out for them, man. I gotta give respect to them, but we're gonna keep it with the ladies today. So, and appreciate you being here. So, yeah, I know that's why I was touching on that, man. So, Daniel Berry Sports, man, thanks for being here, man. Appreciate the love that you show us, man. So, hey, our cool, go our OKC, Paige. Yeah, definitely excited to see what she's going to bring to the table, in the W. So, very interesting time, in my opinion. I want to see, can she, step, and I think she will, can she step up to the table just like, last year's rookie class, definitely did a good job. But what we're going to do is we're going to recap a little bit of last year. In terms of the WNBA. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things. So first off, in terms of the recap, one of the things that, I read an article on is how the league is growing and the interest is there. Even, in terms of attendance and viewership. When I was reading an article and it said it's at an all-time record of more than 54 million viewers have watched a WNBA game, whether it was on ESPN, Ion, whatever avenue that you had, either through the internet, but it was 54 million viewers, and that's an all-time high. And the attendance record is up 48% over last year, man. So, I mean, that's amazing, man. But that shows how the women's game is growing. So, what's your thoughts about that, Cave?
Man, I mean, just going off of them numbers, man. I can remember the inaugural season, man. Like I said, the four teams, the WNBA with the Liberties, the Comet, the Sparks, and it was one more team. It was for what is it? The Cleveland Rockers. This is one of them. I know they was a real early team. It was like
back then. Yeah, Cleveland.
Charlotte Sting, the Charlotte Sting,
the Storm. I think were always there from. Was the Storm there from day one?
Because the Storm was there was the Detroit Shock and all that stuff way back.
Yeah, when. Detroit Shock. You had the Cleveland Rockers. You talked about.
The LA Sparks, the New York Liberties, the Comets, the Houston Comets.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original. Yeah, man. I remember those days. So like I said, when they first started, it was a lot of hype, you know what I'm saying? Then it started dwindling down with the attendance. Because a lot of these teams, like, people don't realize they used to play in the NBA arenas when they really kind of first started, which was a great thing. And then as the attendance went down, then they started moving some of them out to like smaller, which I never thought they should have done that because it's the WNBA. It's not some other league. You're a sister station of the Witch Club, so you should always have for the franchise, to help the women game grow. And like I said, I'm just glad that it just keeps growing. And like I said, it's getting better and better. And now where the league is right now is at an all-time high, man. And it's only going to get better, with the future stars coming in next year, the year after that, and all that stuff. So I know people like Teresa Weatherspoon, Rebecca Lobo, all the, Tina Thompson, all these, they could look back and be like, wow. Cheryl Sousa be like, man, this league is back to where when we first started, how we brought brought it out and all that, the excitement. So I'm just happy for it, man. And like I said, hey, man, with all the moves being made and everything we're going to get into, man, I'm excited for the WNBA, man.
Exactly. You hit on some key points. The growth of the league. The previous indoctrination. Rebecca Lobo, like you said, Lisa Leslie, all the great ones. Teaspoon of the Liberty.
Coop.
Yeah, Cheryl, Cynthia Cooper. The only one that I'm going to be honest, that I really wish she could have played is Cheryl Miller. Because most people don't realize how good she was.
Yeah.
But yeah, back then, it was, as a fan, I just loved it, going to the games. I took my oldest daughter, to a game, and to show her that, women can play in sports too. So, and it continues to grow, and now we're even talking about internationally with, the international flavor. We'll get into the rookie class where there's quite a few, international players who were drafted. So, it's a growing thing, and I definitely can appreciate it. Toronto next year, going to be coming to the W. So, that international flavor is definitely a good one. So, who do you think from last year was your surprise team? I mean, we all expected, New York, Vegas to be, pretty much top teams. Connecticut. Who do you think was a surprise team last year?
Well, for me, I know the surprise team was the Indiana Fever because of the way they started the season. I mean, they started off bad. You know what I'm saying? They started off real bad, and I was just like, man, what's going on and stuff like that. It was like, people was like, down on them because, the Leah Boston and what's the name wasn't really clicking at first. And the coach was like, getting a little bit, what I'm saying? I don't know if she's on Caitlin Clark or something like that, but it was just like a different feel. And like I said, they turned it around, man. I don't know, the light switch went off and they just turned it around. And by the end of the season, man, they were one of the more dangerous teams to play. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody first saying, oh, Caitlin, man, she's overhyped, man. She ain't look at that, man. She can't do this. She can't do that. Early in the season, and all of a sudden it's like the game started slowing down for her, and she started getting better and better and stuff like that. And but like I said, yeah. So for me, it would be the Indiana Fever of any of the teams and stuff like that. Even though they had the first pick and they picked Caitlin Clark, but they didn't come out the gate like that. And I knew they wasn't going to come out the gate because they had like basically had a new, what I'm saying? Like you got to get the chemistry down pat, and then the coach. I think was that a first year coach or a second year coach? That coach.
No, she was. No, I think she was third year.
Third year or something like that. But yeah.
Like that.
And then was she still there at the end of the season? Or they got rid of her and got somebody else.
No, she was there at the end of the season. They got rid of her after the season.
Okay, yeah, I know it was something like that. But like I said, man, yeah, they just picked it up after that, man. So for me, that was a surprise team, last year and stuff like that. Even though the season ended and the way it didn't go, but like I said, that was a surprise team for me last year.
Well, for me, it's actually going to be Minnesota. Because projections were Minnesota was going to be a good team. Don't get me wrong. But no one was expecting them to make it to the finals. I even admit I thought it was going to be New York and Vegas.
Right.
So and for Minnesota to do what they did, and the way that they bonded as a team, and the way that they played together, it's just they totally surprised me. Because I really was not expecting them, to play the way they did, and what's her name, the way she led their team, especially on the defensive end.
Nafisa?
Yeah, Nafisa Collier. It was just amazing to watch them play. They had me scared quite a bit when they were playing the Liberty. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I was literally biting my fingernails, wondering, can the Liberty come out, with the championship? And eventually they did. So, but yeah, to me, they were the surprise team of last year. So, now everyone in the chat, make sure you guys chime in. Let us know who you think, was your surprise team from last year. Interact with us. You have questions, definitely ask us. We're here. And also make sure you guys hit the like button. And so we can continue to grow the show, regrow this show, and get it into the algorithm. If you're not subscribed to the Man Cave or myself, to the Aboriginal Sports Network or the Hardcore Sports Network, make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to each of those channels, as well as hit the notification so you know when content is released. And sharing all your social media platforms, man. We really appreciate it. Hey, as the saying goes, it's free to you guys. It really doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps us, and we really do appreciate it. So, but again, that's it. So, but moving on to the next point, we talked about a little bit. It's our Liberty. Yes, we're Liberty fans, so and we're objective. But last year, New York competed against Minnesota in the championship, ended up beating them 3-2 because it's a 5-game series, especially in overtime. And the MVP was a surprise. Initially I wasn't going to expect her to be, but Jonquel Jones, because she did deserve it for the way she contributed to the game. So what's your thoughts on the Liberty winning their first championship and so many tries, and Jonquel winning MVP?
I think it was bittersweet for the Liberties because, like I said, man, we were one of the flagship teams that entered the WNBA, and we have never won a championship, man. Even though back then we had some dogs on the team back then and stuff. I thought we was gonna win one, but we never could, man. But we finally got one, and we finally brought a championship to the state of New York, man, for basketball. I think the first time in like over 50 years, compared with the Knicks and all these. So it was a great thing for the city, man. I mean, I know we bring championships in baseball, football, other sports, hockey, or something like that, but it's just like, man, basketball is just, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I mean, they were the first one to really bring it back to New York. Now, we haven't had that feeling, man, like I said, forever and a day, and it was a great thing for the city. You know what I'm saying? That really boosted the Liberty as far as the viewership, because people want to see, can they really win a championship for the state of New York, for the city of New York, and stuff like that. And it was a great ride the whole season. And man, I couldn't be more proud of that team, man. We was biting our fingernails in a playoff, in a championship playoff. But I was like, are they gonna pull it out? Can they pull out? Please pull out. I was like, to get this big monkey off our back, and we finally got the monkey off our backs now. So I mean, and guess what? And it all happened like in the second year with Breanna Stewart and them, with Jonquel Jones, because the first year they lost to the Aces and stuff like that, and we wanted that revenge and that payback, but we didn't meet the Aces, so we went on with the Lynx and stuff like that, and it was great, when they came, Jonquel Jones, Breanna Stewart, who was Courtney Vandersloot, when they came to New York, it just changed the dynamics of our team, and it just put us in that stratosphere of winning the championship and competing with Sabrina Ionescu getting some help finally. And when that happened, man, everything just clicked like year two. And man, I just can't wait to see what's going to happen in the future. As far as with the team and stuff like that, and the team growing more and getting better players.
I agree with you, man. I mean, it was always a challenge. It was always, a concern with the Liberty. But look, they worked hard, they fought hard, and they ended up getting the championship, and it's well earned. So definitely, and they had some great key contributors. Like you said, you hit on the good ones. Fiona Lee, Phoebus, sorry, definitely. I mean, everyone. I mean, Kennedy Burke. She did put in some work. So I mean, we can go down the list. Kayla Thornton, man, I'm going to miss her.
I know, man.
Benaja, yeah.
Benaja, yeah.
That's going to hurt. Where she's probably going to be out for the year. So, but it's definitely well-earned championship. So, and the one thing I definitely wanted to touch on was the games, the series. I mean, they were intense, man. They were physical, so, and as a competitor, that's what you want. You want that intensity because it's going to help you step up your game, whenever you need to. So it's definitely those games were definitely intense. Did you feel the same way when you were watching the games?
Yeah, I felt the same way. The intensity for each and every one of those games was great, man. Like I said, for us in New York, man, we wanted to see the pressure on Brianna Stewart and
Mhm,
Sabrina. Could they finally bring it home with all that pressure on them? And guess what? They answered the bell, man. When we
mhm,
really needed some, because we was watching those games like, we need Stewie to do something. We need Sabrina to do something. And hey, they stepped up in the big moments. And I know Stu, one of those, like when she missed that free throw at the end to really could have won the game instead of sending to overtime
mhm,
up, he was like, oh
mhm,
my God, man. It's like, see, I told you she's gonna crack under pressure. I was like, bro, she's been doing this. She's been doing this her whole
mhm,
career with Seattle and some other teams. It's like this ain't nothing for her. It's just one missed free throw. It's like, yo, she's a winner anyway. She's been a winner, and like I
mhm,
said, and then she finally made people in New York believe that New York is a winner. You know what I'm saying? As far as with the
mhm,
Liberty and stuff like that, she brought a championship to New York, helped bring a championship to New York that we haven't had. And like I said, we were the last flagship team to win a championship. Some other teams have won and folded and gone, and we're still
mhm,
here. You know what I'm saying? And it's feel good. Like I said, we're finally on top of the world now. So now this year they're gonna come in, they're gonna have to defend that championship, man. So
mhm,
then that before they were the hunters, now they the hunted. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
So hey,
mhm.
let's get it.
That's an excellent point, man. They are the hunted, and Minnesota's hungry. And the one thing I wanted to talk about it there is, I think because for a while I was saying it was Vegas,
Hmm.
and it seems like it, and some people will say it's Vegas, but from the intensity of that playoff game, that championship, I really think it's Minnesota. Minnesota
Hmm.
is a deep squad, and they're even hungrier now. So, what's up, Dave? Thanks for tapping in, man. I appreciate you. Make sure you hit the like button. But yeah, but do you feel that Minnesota's more a rival for New York, or is it Las Vegas still?
I mean, it's both. I just gonna say both of them because that's we're gonna have to face either one of them at some point anyway because they're both gonna be there. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
The thing that people don't realize in Minnesota how good they were. Nafisa Collier, I think she was out for a little bit. She
Hmm.
came back and then
Hmm.
she really took up. But the whole thing with me is Diamond Miller. Diamond Miller was a stud in college and she
Hmm.
played early in the season. And then she got hurt and she was gone for a while. And they
Hmm.
kept going. And even when she came back, she wasn't even in the starting lineup. So they really didn't use her too much like the way she did and they still was a tough out, man. So you can imagine the season coming up with Diamond Miller and full healthy with Nafisa Kaya. They're gonna be a problem. They're going
Hmm.
to be a huge problem for anybody. You know what I'm saying? Especially out west, with the storm and also the
Hmm.
aces and stuff like that. So yeah,
Hmm.
man. But yeah, that's the thing that surprised me about Minnesota. Like I said, they're tough and they're only gonna get even better. You know what I'm saying? So that's our rivalry, man. Is the Lynx and the Aces. They both the rivalry out there and stuff like that.
Okay, okay, I can accept that. That's cool. So, well, I'm going to close the window there on the Liberty, and we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about the rookies. From
Mm,
last year. You know how they did overall. I mean, there was high expectations from this rookie class, and to
mm-hmm,
me, they produced. They produced. You could sit down and you can go down the list. Whether it's Caitlin Clark, and the whole world loves Caitlin Clark, Angel
mm-hmm,
Reese,
mm-hmm.
Camila Cardoza. I mean, you could sit here, from some teams, and you could say, yeah, she definitely stepped up as a rookie, and they did very well. I mean, what's your thoughts on, the rookie class from last year?
Yeah, man, that was a historic rookie class for the WNBA. You know what I'm saying? One of the likes they hadn't seen in a very, very, very long time.
Hmm.
And like I said, and those girls came and they really produced. The only reason and the only way they didn't really produce, you know what I'm saying, was because of injuries. If it wasn't for injuries, every one of those girls were on point. Like I said, I feel sorry for the Sparks because Cameron Brinks went down,
Hmm.
and but they still have Rakia Jackson, and then again they still was showing out, man. So it was like, yo, watching WNBA game every time I turned on the game, it was somebody, some rookie that was looking. I was like, oh man, she's good. She's doing work. She's doing, So it wasn't one of those like the spotlight wasn't too bright for these ladies. They came up and showed out for their team, and they was on bad
Hmm.
teams, so they elevated their teams. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like they're gonna get even better. They had to learn the speed of the game. They learned that. You know what I'm saying? And hey, man, they ready for it, man. But like I said, that rookie class was great. This
Hmm.
year's rookie class is going to be all right too, but I think last year's class is a historic class. There's going to be some other coming in the future, but yeah, that one came in with a lot of expectation, a lot of pressure, and guess what? And they delivered. Everybody who watched them scenes like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Whoa, like Angel Reese double doubles, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Cardosa, she was out for a little bit. She came back. She was like, she made an impact and stuff like that. Like I said, What's the other team? What was it?
You had
Storm.
the Storm. I mean, you had Rickea Jackson. You touched on
Ricky
for the
Jackson.
Sparks. J.C. Sheldon.
JC Shelton, even the Atlanta Dream players
Yeah.
or stuff like that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Aaliyah Edwards with Washington. I mean,
yeah,
you like I said,
Mystics. Yeah,
yeah. We could sit here and we can go down and you can talk about the depth of that class is just totally, phenomenal. And they all produce and and they met the expectations. I mean, now do you think those expectations was more so because of Caitlin Clark or the whole class in itself?
I think it was the whole class in itself, but it was like Caitlin Clark was one of the factors in it, and Angel
Mhm.
Reese. Between those two were probably like the main, because they were competitors and they were rivals in college, and that even added more fuel to the fire. You know what I'm saying? Coming into the WNBA, everybody, the Caitlin Clark hive wanted to say they were better
Mhm.
than the Angel Reese hive, and that's what, like I said, that's what drove ratings up and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, we as fans, we could try to pit people against each other or like back who we want. But at the end of the day, these ladies are friends and competitor and stuff. They
Mhm.
understand it. It's us the fans who's just like pitting them against each other. But they've been and these. What I'm saying? Like everybody who play basketball knows, like all these kids who play sports know they come up together playing AAU ball and all that stuff. So it ain't like we just seeing them now. You know what I'm saying? They've been battling each other for forever and a day and stuff like that. So they had that competitive nature. They've been friends, and it was great for them to go out there and display, their talent and stuff like that. And like I said, man, they met all the expectation. The league is in good hands right now. This class really elevated them and put them up. And I'm not trying to even for the players who's in the league already, not trying to spit on them or anything, but it's like they helping. This helps the league out even more. You know what I'm saying? You get
Mhm.
players like this in the league and stuff like that, and it's great. And like I said, it's only going to get better, and I just can't wait to see what's going to happen, man.
No, I agree with you. I mean, that rookie class was just phenomenal. It has great depth, and like we just briefly talked about going down the list. You look at the depth and how they all contributed to their respective teams in one way or another. Yes, Caitlin Clark. Rookie of the year. Some people may not think so. They may. I've heard arguments for Angel Reese, but most people went out to see Caitlin Clark. She produced, and she did go out there and perform, with the best of them out there. It started out slow, like you said, but eventually, and once she got acclimated to the speed of the game and what was going on, her game started to rise. And think about it, she led the league in assists. And
Hmm.
Angel Reese, she led the league. I'm sorry, Clark led the league in with 8.4 points per game, and Angel Reese led the league with 13.1 rebounds per game. And that just speaks to that they are players. You could say what you want, you could not like them, for whatever reason, but
Hmm.
they are top players in the WNBA, and their game is only going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And as they grow, it's going to open up so many more doors and windows, because I'm going to use that word also,
Hmm.
um, for other players and young girls to come out and enjoy the games. I forgot to put this on. Sorry about this. Let me see. There we go. Just a little background. That's all. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
So.
and I'm gonna just touch on something that you said. Like, this was the first time last year that I've ever seen like rookie hazing like that, as far as Angel
Mhm.
Reese and Caitlin Clark, like players going after them at them. I watched the WNBA a long time, and it's never really been like this. I mean, you could see it in some of the games and stuff like that. I know it was more projected because of the TV and all that stuff, but it's like this. The Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, like I said, they went after them, and guess what? And they earned their stripes and all that type of stuff, and they still fought back, and
Mhm.
they were there. They didn't like fold in anything. And of course, the WNBA played the veterans like Tarasi and all the how they talk about they're gonna haze, get them, and they did. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And like I said, it
Mhm.
was fun. It was all in fun. Like I said, yeah, some of them was little cheap shots here and there, but at the end of the day, like I said, I never seen either one of them like really like lose their cool because they understood it. They took it. You know what I'm saying? And they earned their stripes, man. And anybody who watched it could tell last year, it's like, yo, they going after them, they doing this and all stuff. I ain't never see that before in the WNBA. You know what I'm saying? Other players have come and gone, but because, like I said, this is a historic class. So everybody wanted them to prove their medal, even the veterans who's in the league already. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna be like that.
Mhm.
But hey, man, they earned their stripes, man. So I'm happy for these girls, man. Like I said, it's only gonna get better from here, man.
Agree. Totally agree with you there. It's only going to get better. So, but we've touched enough on the young girls. the rookie class. So
Mm-hmm.
this year and going forward, the WNBA is going to be bringing in new teams. This coming season, you're going to have a team in Northern California, basically playing in the same, or I believe they're playing in the same arena as the
Warriors.
Golden State Warriors, and it's going to be the Golden State Valkyries. Um, I mean, number one, they had a player draft where they went to each team in the league and they were able to take one player from that respective team to help build the roster. As Liberty fans, it was hard for us to see Kayla Thornton go, but
Mm-hmm.
they did a good job in building their roster, and hopefully, if they can come together, they're going to be a tough little team. What's your thoughts on Golden State coming into the league and their potential?
Yeah, the thing with Golden State, like I said, it's just like the NBA when they have like expansion team,
Hmm.
they get players from every team and stuff like that, and that's the one thing that is going to surprise a lot of people because they don't know what to expect. You know what I'm saying? When you put a
Hmm.
collection of players together and stuff like that, and you get some rookies and stuff like that. So that first year coach for whoever the Valkyries is like, that's the initial season and stuff like that, and it can turn out to be a great season for them because nobody know what to expect. You know what I'm saying? They have
Hmm.
a lot of depth. You know what I'm saying? Because these are
Hmm.
players who are hungry, who want to prove that they belong in the league. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's about. So they're gonna be like, hey, I was put up. You know what I'm saying for the draft and stuff like that. So they want to prove to their old team what they value and things like that. And they're gonna be hungry and they're gonna be playing. They're not gonna be a team that's gonna be quitting and just lay down and stuff because they're a new team and they just put together. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a great season, man. I can't wait to see what the Valkyries have to offer and stuff like that. And I know what's name went to that team too from the Aces, Kate Martin. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? The shooter. So yeah, it's just some other players I can remember some of the names, but yeah, I'm waiting to see what the Valkyries going to do and stuff like that. Like I said, they should be good, man. Like I said, it's going to be great, man. I can't wait for
Yeah,
these
I'm
guys,
trying to
man.
pull up their roster right now.
Yeah, man. I know. Like I said, it's just like you get to like you be like, whoa. You start looking at Rossi, you be like, oh, okay, they got her too. Okay, they got
Yeah,
her too. Okay,
Kate,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cheyenne
You know,
Sellers, Caitlin Chen,
Sellers
still
was a draft
roster.
pick, right? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
no, those
draft
two
pick.
were draft picks. It was just I'm sitting here trying to see if I can pull up their. Oh, there's the
Their
roster.
roster.
Yeah, I got it right now. Okay, Carla Leite, Cheyenne Sellers, who they drafted, Caitlin
Mm-hmm.
Chen, Latisse Amy here,
Mm-hmm.
Juice Johnson, the rookie number one draft pick from oh, I forgot where she was overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Kayla Thornton, Stephanie Talbot, I know her. Uh,
Definitely top right.
Janae Sulin, Temi
Mm-hmm.
Fegbeni. Um, she's 4 years. Played at Southern Cal. Tiffany Hayes. Yeah, that's right. Tiffany Hayes signed over
Mm-hmm.
there. Kate Martin, Veronica Burton, Cecilia Zander. Oh, she came. That's right. She was with Wasn't she with Minnesota last year?
The
Xander
links.
Lassini. Yeah.
Yeah.
Monique Billingsley, Megan Torre, Kyra Linskin, Elise Kune. They got a lot of bodies. Julie
Yeah.
Van Lowe and Chloe Bibby. Those are the players that, and she's another rookie. I guess they drafted or signed her as a free agent. So, but yeah, those are the players that they have on their roster right now, and it's going to be interesting watching them. Because I'm intrigued. What kind of team are they going to put on the table? Um, you
Mm-hmm.
know, Let me restart the video.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see with them, like, the WNBA, like I said, I don't know how they're gonna do the draft next year. They're gonna give them the top pick because sometimes they're a new team, so they try to help them out sometimes to get their footing and stuff like that. That's why I want to see what's gonna happen at the end of the season, or are they just gonna go by the records?
I think
But
it's
if they
going to go
do
by
get one of the top picks, yeah, I think so too. But I don't know, I know the expansion draft was, what I'm saying, with
Mhm.
this and all that stuff. So it's probably just this one year, and after that, they're just gonna go by the records and stuff like that. And if they, end up having the number one pick, what I'm saying, because I don't know how they
Mhm. Mhm.
and then who's going to be out next year and stuff like that because you're going to have a lot of great players coming in next year too and stuff. So that'll only help them. What I'm saying, right now they just like getting it together because I remember when like the Orlando Magic and Miami Heat came in the NBA and their inaugural season and stuff like that and all that.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, it'll be great, man.
All right. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about the draft this year's draft. I mean, of course, Paige Bucher was number one overall. I mean, there was no denying she was going to go number one overall.
Right.
You had Dominique Malunga. I hope I said her name right.
Yeah, you did. I think that.
Yeah, so they had her go
overseas.
number two. She, watching her and watching her her highlights, I was just like, oh wow.
Right, because we didn't get to see her because she was overseas, right?
Exactly. So this young lady's, I'm going to get into that, but she impressed me.
I know.
You had three Sonia Critton, four Kiki Erifin,
right.
Five. Those two went to the Washington Mystics, and Malunga went to the Seattle Storm. We just talked about Juicy. I hope I don't know her name. She went to Golden State. Georgia Amore, I know about her. She went to the Washington Mystics. Anisha Morrow went to the Connecticut Sun. Sanaya Rivers also to the Sun. Sarah Ashley Barker went to the Sparks. Ajisa Savika and Haley Van Lith went to the Chicago Sky, and Isaiah James went to the Dallas Wings. So there's some good players there too. I mean, the international ones I don't know too much on. I've been trying to do my research, but some of the other ones, they definitely are some good players. I mean, what's your thoughts about those players that this draft class?
Yeah, this draft class, like I said, is not as great as last year's draft class because some players can't come out and stuff like that. I expected some to come out, like some of them went back to school, but yeah, like I said, I'm this class. Like I said, I think what people be sleeping was like I looked at the Dallas Wings and what they did with Paige Beckers. And also Isaiah James, man. People don't know Isaiah James played for NC State, man. Like I said, she was a bulldog over there. And that backcourt with Erika and Paige and Isaiah James is gonna be a lethal backcourt that people ain't gonna, what I'm saying, I'm just happy for them. But like I said, as far as the rookie class, man, like I said, yeah, we know Paige Beckers is gonna be number one and stuff like that. And like you said, the Malanga girl from France and stuff like that. I want to see her because I didn't see too many of her highlights and stuff like that because she didn't play in college ball, so I really didn't get to see her at none of the schools. So I want to see how she is, and I know she's like 6'5" or something. She's
6'6".
6'6". She's tall. I know she's tall. So yeah. So she could be like I guess a Brittany Griner or something. I know Griner's like 6'8" or something like that. So I want to see her highlight. I want to see her play. And who she went to at number 2?
She went to the Seattle Storm. So think about this too, because she's 6'6", but they also have Ezzy. What's her last name?
I know you're talking about. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't get her last name.
In the low box, man.
Yeah,
they're both 6'5"-ish, 6'4"-ish to 6'6". Very athletic, long wings. Malunga, I mean, everything that I saw about her. She's athletic. She can dribble. She can shoot. A good defense. And again, this is just highlights. So I get highlights, are going to show the positive. But you can see that she has good athleticism. Now, the one thing I will say that could be against her is she's only 19 years old. So, you're playing up against grown women. Now, you can say, well, she's played that in the international spectrum, and that is true. But, the WNBA is a lot different. But, you saw a little bit of her in the Olympics too.
Olympics, right?
Yeah. So but she's definitely a player to watch as the season goes on. So for me, she's probably her and Pow Pow, who went to Atlanta, are probably Tahina Pow Pow.
I know.
They're my two intriguing picks to watch out for. Because Tahina, I watched her at South Carolina. The girl can play. People can say what they want about her, but she can play, and she's a born leader. So, but those are my intriguing picks from this draft. Who are yours?
Mine's, like I said, I'm gonna go back with Isaiah James again. That's my homeboy. That's his niece. Like I said, that's his niece, Isaiah James, and his nephew is Stephon Castle. So, like I said, they're cousins. So And both of them in the state of Texas, you know, because Stephon was San Antonio. She got picked by Dallas, so that's going to be great for them. Maybe a Texas, you know, thing going. But like I said, yeah, man, watching Isaiah James grow up at NC State, man, and like I said, she's a dog with Sanaya Rivers. They were a great tandem and stuff like that. Now they split up and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'll go with Isaiah James for me. And everybody know Paige Becker, so I'm not going to go with that. But I think it'll be Isaiah James for me, man. I just want to look out for her and stuff like that. And listen, I'm gonna just say this. And I hope she make the team, because for some reason the WNBA first round picks doesn't guarantee to make, which is one of the craziest things ever. I just can't fathom how they don't make the team. Sometimes depend on because of the roster spots and all that type of stuff. I'm glad they have in the expansion team to give them more roster spots, which is great. But yeah, that's what would be my surprise pick. I want to see how she's going to do in Dallas this year.
Okay, that's a good one. Definitely going to watch out for her too. So that little family rivalry to a certain extent. So that's a good one. That's a good one. So who do you think could be the potential rookie of the year? Potential
rookie of the year. I know everybody's going to expect Paige Beckers because she's the number one pick, but she also plays with Arika. Arika is a beast and is a dog out there. So Arika is A1 right now. You know what I'm saying? Paige she's going to help her. It's going to be a sidekick. So I'm intrigued to see the Storm, the second pick, Malunga. I'm intrigued because I think she should have a big impact because they're going to be going to her. She's 6'6". They're going to go to her and stuff like that, feature her in the lineup. I know they got what's the girl name? It's still like a Wnba.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's still there too. But then they lost Jewel Lloyd, so that's a big piece they lost. So hey, she could get a chance to be featured in the offense, and I think they will turn to her. Like I said, I have to see some more highlights, but you said her highlights was crazy, so it is crazy. I'm pretty sure she's, like I said, she'll get the opportunity to win that, rookie of the year.
Yeah, on their roster, you have Serena Sundell, Nneka Onwuke, Skylar Diggins-Smith, Gabby Williams, Zia Cook, Lexi Brown, Izzy Bigore, Malunga, Erica Wheeler went there. Didn't realize that. All right, Madison Connor, Jordan Hobbs, Lee Uri, who they got from the Sparks. That's another player. She's 6'7", low post player. Alicia Clark. Oh, that's right. She went back to Seattle from Kay Lou Samuelson, Brianna Fester, and Mackenzie Holm. Are who they just drafted. So that's Seattle's roster. So.
I didn't know that has Zia Cook too, man. Zia Cook is she's a dog too, man. Zia Cook and also Gabby Thomas, man. Gabby Thomas.
I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm Seattle, Malunga is not starting. She's not. She's coming off the bench. I know she's the number 2 pick. I mean, you have Nneka and you have Izzy. So you still have good size and you still have good athleticism and veteran leadership, to start, and then you just rotate her in. And then on the second unit, like I said, you also have what's her name? Yuri or Yi Ru. She's from China. That's all I know.
Yeah, I know, man. I know.
So, but they have that deep squad, man. Just looking at their roster now, I'm just like, wow,
I didn't know when you was naming the name. I was like, that person too. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, they're going to be a tough team out west. So definitely intrigued to watch them. And like you said, Malunga, she's potential, especially if she can start. So. But you know what? And looking and going down the roster, it probably is going to be Paige Beckers because she's starting. So
she's starting.
But we were just talking about Malunga. How impactful do you think she can be in the league?
I mean, with that size, like I said, because with Seattle had they had what's name before Lauren Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Lauren Jackson was impactful. She was from Australia, and I think if I'm not mistaken, Lauren Jackson was he 6'3" or 6'5"?
No, Lauren Jackson was 6'5", 6'6".
6. Okay, same thing. And she made a big impact for Seattle, man. When I watched the Seattle game, she was long. She was a long player. You can see it right there. You just be like, man. And they went to her and stuff like that. And I think that's what they're gonna do. The same thing with probably go with the Twin Tower look when they go big and all that stuff. It's like they're gonna have a lot of size and all that stuff. And she got some dogs with her right now. You know what I'm saying with NECA and the other girl, I keep like you said, I keep forgetting her name, Izzy or something like that
Yeah,
down there and
as
stuff
the
like that.
McBavor.
Yeah, McElroy. Yeah, it's like so yeah, and that's gonna be they're gonna be some trouble in the post. They're gonna be with Chicago with Cardoso and all that type of stuff. They can bring some size. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but yeah, I expect her to have a big impact, man. Like I said, or like you said, if she comes off the bench, then it's not gonna be as much. They bring her along slowly, but if she do starts and stuff like that and starts really taking off, then yeah.
You know what? I was just sitting here thinking about it too. One of Malunga's teammates from the French squad is actually on her team. That's Gabby Williams. Gabby
Oh yeah.
she can have a good influence and help her. I just was just thinking about it too. So you might be right. She she may
Gabby's a
end up
dog.
starting.
Everybody know Gabby's a dog,
Yeah,
man. She was a dog last year. I was like, whoa.
I was hoping the Liberty could have signed her this year, but I mean,
Yeah.
we'll talk about player movement later.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to close that out right now, because we're now starting to talk about the player movement. I mean, how do you think the player movement will impact the season? Will it have a great impact, or will it be subtle and just help out a few teams?
No, I think it'll have a great
And you know
impact.
what? Let me do this too, because I wrote it down too.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some of the key player movements. Now, number one, respect to the great one, Diana Taurasi. She retired, after
Mm-hmm.
21 years. So I'm definitely going to start off with her as a sign of respect. So, and I
Respect.
appreciate everything that she did for the game of basketball, not just the women's game, the game of basketball. But now
Mm-hmm.
you have Brittany Griner signing with the Atlanta Dream. So she's leaving Phoenix, going over to Atlanta. Jewel Lloyd traded from Seattle to the Las Vegas Aces. Kelsey Plum was traded from the Aces to the Los Angeles Sparks, all in the same trade.
Mm-hmm.
Brianna Jones signed with the Atlanta Dreams, leaving the Connecticut Sun. Tina
Mm-hmm.
Charles signed with the Connecticut Sun for I think this is her
Mm-hmm.
second stint with Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
Dewana Bonner signs with the Indiana Fever, leaving Connecticut,
Connecticut
along with her fiance leaving, being traded from
to
Connecticut
Phoenix.
to Phoenix. Yeah. What's her name? Alyssa Thomas.
Alyssa Thomas.
Yeah. Sophia Cunningham was traded to the Indiana Fever. Courtney Vandersloot leaves the New York to go back to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Dejanay Carrington is traded from Connecticut to the Dallas Wings.
I forgot about that too. Whoa.
Mm-hmm. Satu Sabali is traded from Dallas to the Phoenix Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
And Natasha Cloud is traded from Phoenix to the Connecticut Sun, then to the champion New York Liberty. So that's just a little touch of the player movement that's going on. So how impactful do you think that will be?
Oh, it's going to be very impactful, man, because these are a lot of moves that's going to help a lot of teams. It's not just one team got helped. Every team is going to got a lot of help. And like I said, it's going to be a very competitive. This season going to be probably the most competitive that I've seen in a long time. Because Dejanay Carrington, like I said, man, she's a dog, man. I want her on the Liberties and stuff like that. She's a defensive dynamo.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And she bring that fire, man. It's like going to Dallas with Paige Beckers and Arika. Oh my God, man. That stuff is gonna be that backcourt. Isaiah James, she's gonna have to come off the bench, but that backcourt is gonna be late. It's gonna be lit, man. And then you look at Phoenix, looked like they were in rebuild mode when they got Brittany Griner left and Diana Taurasi retired, but then they get Alyssa Thomas, Satu Sabali, so they're not really in a rebuild like that. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be very competitive too, because Alyssa Thomas is a competitor. She's one of the most competitive person out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So triple double, whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's like a defensive dynamo too, like that. Man, Brittany Griner with the Atlanta Dream and stuff, with Ryan Howard and these other. It's like, I can't even, like I said, all the game is gonna be must watch. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
how you see some games, you be like, yeah, I ain't watching that game. It's gonna be boring. Nah, it's like somebody there's like every team now has somebody you can like kind of like pick and choose. Like, oh yeah, I want to see her play. You know what I'm saying? Or
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know she's on that team now. It's like so it's just that intrigue, and that's what it's gonna be, the intrigue. And then if this new, like the new deal and TV deal and all that stuff is going to be even better, man, and stuff like that, man. So I can't wait to see it, man. But yeah, the player movement is going to be very impactful for a lot of teams, not just a couple of teams. So
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be great. And like I said, the only team that really, saying they didn't get too much was the Valkyries. They got some players, but they didn't get like the top players. They got some
Mm-hmm.
players too, but. Yeah, but this player movement got traded and stuff like that, man, is great, man. Like I said, and then the Aces, man, when they get Jewel Lloyd, I'm like, oh my God, they got Jewel Lloyd. It's like to go with them dogs over there too. It's like, Kelsey Plum going to the Sparks and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that, man. So yeah, man, she's going to the Sparks to help those young girls over there too play and stuff like that. Rakia Jackson, Cameron Brinks, that's going to be good for them. They need that veteran
Mm-hmm.
leadership over there. So yeah, man, it's going to be very impactful.
I think you're right that it's going to be impactful for the whole league, and um, the one team that I'm intrigued by and kind of concerns me is actually the Fever. I mean, because you're getting Dewana Bonner and Sophia Cunningham. I love me some Sophia
Mm-hmm.
Cunningham. Sophia is a dog in her game in
Mm-hmm.
herself. She'll play defense. She'll get gritty. She'll dive on the floor, but then she hits those 3-pointers, man. And sometimes it's just like a dagger to the heart when she hits them, because she hits them at those clutch moments. And she's learned well from Diana Taurasi and Dewana Bonner, man. As skinny as she may be, man, that's one girl who I'm like, she is
Yeah.
tough. And then you're putting her with Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston. I'm sitting
Mm.
there, I'm like, wow, that team
Yeah, man.
is definitely going to be tough. So, but again, we went through all those teams and all that movement, and man, it's definitely good for the game.
Parity. It's parity. Now it's
Yes.
parity in the league.
So let me ask you. All right, you know, most people always say, well, who is the best player to be moved, but also who's the worst that you can think of?
You said the worst player to be moved?
In other words, who's the one player who went to a team and you don't think that's a good fit? I mean, if you don't think it's
Yeah,
anyone,
looking at it, like I said, the only one I could think of is like probably is just Kelsey Plum, going from Las Vegas to LA, what I'm saying? She's going to a
mm,
kind of a rebuild. That's the whole thing. She's coming from a championship to go into a team to try to build this other team back up again. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know too many. Like I gotta look at LA's roster, but I don't think she has too much help on there.
mm.
I know she got a lot. She got some rookies from
But
last
she
year, and
also
then
has what's her name, who played on, because she just played in what you call it too, in the Unrivaled. Um, what's her name? Hold on a second, I got her on their roster right now.
'cause I know
Let's
it's
see.
not Hamby, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, Dearica Hamby.
Derek
That's what I'm
Hamby.
talking about. Yeah, let's see. Shanice Swain, Sarah Ashley Barker, Shania Finnegan. These are
Mm-hmm,
all rookies.
mm-hmm,
Liatu King,
mm-hmm,
um, Alyssa Ootsby from North
mm-hmm,
Carolina, Rakia Jackson, Dearica Hamby, Odyssey Sims,
mm-hmm,
Maria Koli Dokova, Kelsey
mm-hmm,
Plum, Anel Maley, Ray Burrell. Oh, I didn't know she went there.
mm-hmm.
Maria McDonald, Julie Almond, Mercedes Russ. Oh, Mercedes left Seattle.
From
That's right.
Seattle, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Kelsey Brink, Azuri Stevens. Oh wow, they got some good
yeah,
size.
yeah. They got size too. Ezra Stevens,
Emma,
yeah, they got some size.
yeah, and then Emma Cannon. So yeah, I get the rebuild, but it's
Yeah,
going. They're not going to be an easy out. Do I think they can win the championship? No.
right.
Can they fight for a playoff spot, one of the bottom playoff spots? Yeah, they can. Depending on how things roll. but they seem like they have a decent squad. So, but
Right.
I get your point too about Kelsey going there. So it might not, you know,
Yeah, it's like going from winning a championship now to go back to like
that
starting
yeah
kind of over and not starting over, but it's just like euphoria.
yeah exactly. So to me, yeah, it's so many good moves, man.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm
It's
saying. It's
just
just
like because I'm sitting. I guess the best move is either Brittany with Atlanta or Jewel with Las Vegas. Now Brittany. You know what? Brittany and Brianna, because Brianna Jones going there. That's giving
mm,
them some good low post defense, size,
hmm
rebounding. So
hmm
I mean, they. I'm gonna say it's probably. I mean, Jewel Lloyd, yeah, but
hmm
I want to see how she fits in. You made a good point about Kelsey. Um, I talked about Dewana, Sophia, maybe
hmm
Dejanay. Yeah, I'm gonna go. You know what, Satu Sabali, because she's gonna get a fresh start. And
with Phoenix, right?
there was a time where she was one of the top 2 to 3 best
hmm
players in the league. So, and I know she's been dealing with injuries, but I think she also got tired of being in Dallas. So, this might
hmm
energize her. I was hoping that she could have got traded to New York back when she was, because I know it was Phoenix and New
I
York
mean,
was
that's
last two.
Steve's sister, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we would have had to give a lot for her. So, but yeah, it's a lot of moves, man. It's too hard to really pick just one.
This is the biggest movement in WNBA in a long
Biggest.
time. I mean, some good players. That's why it makes it so tough and difficult, man. And it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say they're right now I'm not gonna really put even Kelsey, which going from a winner to a situation that you got to really fight to make a move, but mm, they're all good moves, man.
But I'm gonna tell you one person that probably should have been moved and they didn't get moved was I was surprised with Connecticut's son with Marina Mabry keeping her.
Yeah, I didn't understand why they're holding on to her, and she wants to leave. You know,
Right, because she knows that they're just breaking the team up. She wants to go to it, but
she left Chicago because she wanted to win, and that was her thing. So,
right.
so it was just, and they said no. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
why
me
would you
too.
want?
I'm surprised
I'm
because
like, man,
they could have got some draft picks or something for her because the people wanted her. So it's like, yo, you could have just did it and just could do it. But
yes,
hey, I guess they know more behind the scenes than we know. So we'll see how
yeah,
that shapes up in
but
Connecticut and stuff like that.
that's a good point though, bringing her up. So yeah, good one there. So, um, now we're going to talk about the upcoming seasonal schedule. Look a little bit at some of the best games.
Marquee games, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. So this has to be preseason. I thought the regular season. Yeah, these are preseason games. Let me skip past those.
hmm
So the regular season starts. This is what I was looking for. The 16th. All right. So the start in Atlanta, Washington, Minnesota, Dallas, Minnesota at Dallas, Los Angeles at Golden State. That starts the season on that Friday. Saturday, you have Vegas and New York, and then
hmm
Chicago and the Fever, Seattle at the Mercury. Um, I think the two marquee games actually will be LA and New York, and then Seattle and Phoenix. I mean, what's your thoughts?
You said all the games you just
Mm,
named.
You know what? Chicago, Indiana, because of
Well,
Angel
Chicago,
Reese.
Indiana.
Yeah,
Right.
so I think all three of them. That's you know what, the league was smart with those games to put those
hmm
on. Yeah, that if the first Saturday. Yeah, that's a good one. Those are some good marquee games right there. Because you know what, May 17th, you're going to be tuned in for the most part as best you can. So,
Yeah.
we might not see the Seattle Phoenix because that's on the league pass and it's on late at 10 o'clock Eastern time. So,
Hold up, they got a league pass.
yeah, they have a WNBA league pass.
I didn't even know. I thought they games just came on just like Ion and relegation. I know the NBA league, but I didn't hear like the NBA league pass. I mean,
Someone told me. I think
Wow.
they said it's like. I think they said it's like $50. I'll have
That's
to
what I
read
was just
it.
about to say. I know it's gonna be something like $50 or $100, which is good. Yo, that's cool too. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. That's still cool.
Oh
And
hell no!
what?
The annual league pass is $34.99.
How many months? Each month? How many is it?
No, for the whole year, $35.
35 bucks? Oh yeah, I definitely getting the $35
Yeah,
for the league
yeah,
pass because
yeah,
yo, that's
yeah.
crazy,
That's
bro. Yeah.
crazy.
But you know what though? That's crazy to us. But you know what? That says something about the league, how they grown because they didn't even have a league pass before. So they starting to get the
True,
league pass. That's
true.
that's gonna be this, and then it's just gonna go on from there. You know what I'm saying? Which is a great thing because there's games that people want to see and they couldn't see it because they wasn't showing it, we couldn't see it. Now you get the
Mhm.
league pass, you can see any game you want.
Exactly, exactly. Hey, anybody, everyone,
$35.
yeah, everyone in the chat, just make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the Man Cave, Coach A. Gladney's Amazing World of
Yes,
Sports,
sir.
the Hardcore
Hardcore
Sports
Sports Net.
Network, and the Aboriginal Sports Network. I have the links in the description. We also have I also have the Twitter information, and if there's a Facebook, it's all there. Make sure you subscribe and like, and hit notification for everything. And also let us know, talk to us. Let us know what games that you're interested in, or any other questions that you have, any thoughts, anything that we talked on and we touched on. Let us know your opinions and your thoughts. So,
Hmm.
but let's see, I'm up to the 18th.
You talking about $35? I'm like, shit, that's a drop
Yeah,
in the bucket.
exactly, man. Let's see, the 18th, you have Washington at Connecticut and the Lynx at the Sparks. Maybe the Lynx or Spark, but I'm expecting them. Seattle and Dallas on the Monday the 19th. Then
Yeah, I mean
Tuesday,
that's a good game. Seattle and
yeah,
Dallas. I want to see that, man.
Tuesday the Aces and Connecticut and Atlanta and Indiana. Now that I think is going to be a good game. And
Yeah.
that's on NBA TV. So 7 o'clock tip off. So definitely see about tuning
And we also have to look at the games when these players face their old team. So that's gonna be
in.
marquee games too.
True. Then you have the 21st, Dallas at Minnesota, Washington and Golden State, the Sparks at the Mercury. Then we have on Thursday, Indiana and Atlanta. I think that's definitely going to be a tough game. Definitely. And
Hmm.
that one is on Prime though. That's going to be on Prime, but at least they're on Prime.
Hmm.
Then Thursday you have the Liberty at the Chicago. The 22nd you have Liberty at the Chicago Sky. And that's on League Pass. Then that Friday, Connecticut Sun and the Minnesota Lynx, the Mystics at the Las Vegas Aces, Golden State at the Sparks, Phoenix Mercury at the Sun. So that's going to be a good one. And depends on how Connecticut starts out. Connecticut and Minnesota might be. So, oh no, that's probably going to be Minnesota's first. Yeah, that's Minnesota's first home game. So, we'll see. We'll see. Then the
Hmm.
24th, Liberty at the Fever. That's on CBS. And then Dallas at Atlanta. So, yeah. Then you have, yeah. So you think, yeah, the Liberty and Fever are definitely going to be a tough one. Um,
Hmm.
uh, I got to see that Dallas, the Paige Bucher
Of course.
against the Atlanta Dream. So, yeah, man, it's some good games, man. Sunday, Connecticut at Atlanta, Chicago at Los Angeles, Washington at Phoenix, and Vegas at the Storm. Oh my gosh, that's on League Pass. Oh, that's at 6 o'clock on League Pass. All these games are on League Pass that Sunday. Yeah, they're all on League
Hmm.
Pass. Okay, okay. Then Tuesday, the 27th, you have Dallas at Connecticut, Golden State at New York, Seattle at Minnesota. Seattle, Minnesota. Atlanta, Los Angeles, Chicago at Phoenix. So there's some decent games, man. Um,
Hmm.
Let me see. I'm just going to go over the Mace games right now because we have time to go over the other ones as the season goes along. Then
Hmm.
Wednesday you have Wednesday the 28th, Indiana at Washington, Golden State at New York, Dallas at Chicago. Let me see. Dallas, Chicago's on Prime. New York and Golden State are on League Pass. I didn't say, yeah. The 28th, Indiana Washington is on NBA TV and League Pass. Hmm. And let's see, Friday the 30th, is that the last? Oh no, yeah, the 31st. Okay. Um, Let me see. Friday the 30th, you have the Sun at Indiana, New York at Washington, Los Angeles Sparks versus the Las Vegas Aces, Minnesota and Phoenix, Atlanta, Seattle. And these are all on Ion. Okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, Ion, I see your work. And then the 31st is going to be Chicago and Dallas on League Pass. So um, May is going to give us some good games, man. Definitely going to give us some good games. So, what's up, Chad, man? Thanks for tapping in. Really appreciate you. Yeah, clap, clap, smack, smack, jelly cakes, brother. You know how we do. So.
Yeah.
But that's the breakdown right there. I mean, I was going to go into records, but nah, it's still a little bit too early to do that. So.
Yeah.
Now you talked about it earlier. You said this is a landmark year, and I do agree. This past year was a landmark year for the WNBA. It was something magical, and I really appreciate it. And my Liberty ended up with a championship, so they got the ring. They got the ring.
Right.
So, but yeah,
I'll just say we got our ring out the way before Caitlin Clark and them.
really. So,
Right.
but yeah, it was something that was magical. It was something that was special. I really appreciate it. I mean, what were your thoughts on the season as a whole from last year? Do you agree that it was well, you did say it was a landmark year, so
Mm-hmm.
do you think it was magical, like I said earlier?
Of course, man. I think it was magical. I think it was a landmark, and just like we was talking about the league pass, they ain't never had a league pass before. Now they
Hmm.
getting a league pass. When professional sports are getting league pass, that means it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's going to be more financial stability for the women's, could even raise salaries and stuff like that, which they're going to need in the future and stuff like that with all these
And CBS.
great athletes coming and all the TV deals and stuff like that. Because, like I said, the league is very competitive. There's not going to be no more where there's like 12 and 14 teams and only like about 3 of them competitive and 11 of them is not good and must not, don't want to watch TV.
Hmm.
Every game is going to be a must watch kind of, what I'm saying? Because, out of the 12, 13, whatever, 14 teams that have like 11 of them are good. Like only about 2 or 3 is not really too, but they still good. They still got some players on there and they going to get even better too because they going to get help in the draft and stuff like that. So it's going to be all across the board. Right now, it's
Hmm.
like about 90. It's like 89%. I want to watch these games. 89. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? By the time you look another 2, 3 years down the line, it's gonna be 100%. Every game's gonna be like a showdown every night. So yeah, it's a
Hmm.
landmark season. It was a landmark season last year, and what made it even more of a landmark season was that the Liberty won the championship for the state of
Hmm.
New York and brought the WNBA title to the state of New York and New York City and stuff like that. So, which was a great thing, man. And all that hype with the rookies, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, and and all that, and the Liberties won a championship. The Aces was there, the Storm. I mean, the Lynx was right there, so it was great, man. So yeah, and this season's gonna be even better.
I agree with you. Totally agree with you. And you touched on something in terms of the growth, because they can redo the CBA next year. The players can opt out. So,
Hmm.
and they're going to be looking for more money because with the Unrivaled, I mean, the money that they're making down there, like
Hmm.
Paige Becker's 1 year is equal to her 4 year contract in the WNBA.
Right.
So, so the money is there, and they're getting a new TV contract. So it's going to be there. You're going to see less and less women going overseas to stay home, especially if the Unrivaled grows, and, they're going to be able to get paid there. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. That's a great point too. So, but,
And
um,
that's only better for the league though. The more money they make, that mean the players don't have to go nowhere. They could just stay here all year round and stuff like that, and
mhm,
be much better playing on rival league. You know what I'm saying? So that's even better. Now you're gonna have basketball when the season's on and after the season's over, man. So it's great.
exactly. So, well, that's going to wrap it up for us today. Really appreciate everyone tapping in. Thank you, Chad. Thank you, David. Thanks, Arku. Thank you, Daniel Berry. I think I got everybody. And thank you to those of you who were watching and didn't, join in the chat, but, we see those, the numbers of people that are watching. Really appreciate you. Again, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification. And make sure you share on all your social media platforms so you can help us continue to regrow this channel, this show, and also the channels. We really do appreciate you guys. So in closing, you have anything you want to add before we get out of here?
Yeah, man, I just want to thank everybody for tapping in, man, from YouTube, Twitter, and all social media platforms, man. Make sure you, like you said, like Coach said, subscribe to the Man Cave podcast, as well as Coach Ed Gladney's Amazing World of Sports, the Aboriginal Sports Network, as well as Hardcore Sports Network, so we can keep bringing you content like this, man, because no really other people bringing you WNBA basketball talk like this. Everybody talking about the men's and stuff like that. I got to show the ladies some love. Like I said, it's a growing league. It's going to get even better, man. So, hey, we don't just talk about football. We talk about basketball. We talk about women's basketball. We talk about all kind of sports, man. So, hey, man, you got a large variety to choose from when you tap into the Aboriginal Sports Network, Hardcore Sports Network, Man Cave, also Coach Ed Gladney's Amazing World of Sports, man. And like I said, I will be back on here. I'm not going to do the Thursday game with the Knicks because I'll be at the sports bar probably watching the draft because, NFL draft coming on.
Yes.
But I definitely will be there Saturday doing the Knicks game again. But like I said, Thursday, yeah, we waiting for the draft and all that type of stuff, man. Can't wait for it. And like I said, can't wait for these women games to come back. And like I said, it's only right around the corner. So, hey, stick with us, man. We'll be right here within, like I said, giving you all the action, man, recapping everything that happens, on a weekly basis. So make sure you come back and tap in, man.
All right, man. So, again, thanks a lot, everyone. From the Man Cave, Next Shift Randy, I know he's not here, but he's part of the show. And myself, thank you all for tapping in. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.
Where is it? Oh, there it is.
Full court, we roll. Game on, take control. Full court, we roll. Game on, take control. Randy in the mix, you know it's a fix. Coach Ed rips, strategies to blitz. Man Cave vibes, never throwing it down. Fast breaks and swerves, rhythms in town. City lights shining, crowd on the rise. East Coast beat, feel the verse surprise. Dribbling dreams, hustle hard, no regrets. Welcome to the court, it's your move, place bets. Neck diff Randy got the crowd so hyped. Coach that guy and every play's in sight. From the block to the three, every shot's on point. Man Cave energy, we ain't gonna disappoint.
All that I know, really,